Hey everybody, Toby Milroy here again, Vice President for AMS, and thanks for watching this quick video. I wanted to make this for you really quickly today for a couple of really important reasons. In one of our last Facebook Live videos that we did here on Martial Arts World News Magazine's Facebook page, we talked a little bit about the massive disruption that we're seeing in marketing right now for martial arts schools. And I hope that you're paying attention. So I wanted to make this video to make sure that I re-emphasized for you how big of a shift this is. This is the greatest transition in marketing strategy, marketing effectiveness, the marketing dollar that a martial arts school can have that we've seen in history, period, right? Now, we've lived through some pretty big shifts in our industry, right? We lived through the Karate Kid era, which was an enormous shift in how people thought about martial arts and about how the market accepted martial arts and about how the family market became sort of a staple in martial arts in a way that it hadn't been before. And that was a huge shift. We saw a second huge shift, 2007, 2008, right? When the economy, really tanked and people's, homes were in foreclosure and short sales were the commonality rather than a traditional sale. We saw a pretty big shift in how martial arts was, sort of put on the back burner for many consumers because they couldn't afford their house anymore, right? And so we saw a pretty big shift in the marketplace. But now you and I are living through right now, the biggest tectonic fundamental shift in marketing strategy, in the ability for martial arts schools to attract new students that we've ever seen. And it's this shift in power, frankly, the power has been taken away from the big national marketing companies, the big national media outlets like television, radio, newspaper, and the Yellow Pages. And that power has been given, frankly, directly to you, right? Now we have things like social media and with our online marketing channels and other online marketing channels that are very useful for us. But this is a fundamental shift in how the marketplace works as it applies to attracting martial arts students in your school. And right now, today, who knows how long this is going to last, right? It might only be for 3 years or 4 years or 5 years, but it will change again. Right now, today, this attention, the eyeballs that we're able to buy, the consumers that we're able to get in front of, the ability to get in front of them is radically underpriced right now. It's sort of like the stock market, right? If you were, looking at a company like Google, but all of a sudden, Google's stock share went down to 1 cent a unit, right? A huge discount like that doesn't come along very often, right? So this is what we're seeing right now. When we look at our analytics, right now we're managing social media marketing, online marketing, and a bunch of other bits of attracting new students for our martial arts schools. We're managing all of that for lots and lots of schools across the country. And we're seeing the ability to attract new students at costs that are so low we've never seen before, right? So let me walk you through a couple of examples. When I started opening schools, the Yellow Pages was sort of like the staple, right? You had to have a big Yellow Pages ad because that's where everybody looked, right? They let their fingers do the walking. The previous version of Google was the Yellow Pages, right? And they were basically business listings. I sometimes forget that we do have younger listeners who are operating martial arts schools who might not know what the Yellow Pages are, but the Yellow Pages were, what was a directory, and today Google is in place of the Yellow Pages. And that's where people went to shop. When they were looking for martial arts lessons, they would go to the Yellow Pages. When they were looking for a tire store for their car, they would go to the Yellow Pages, right? So at the time, I did some statistics about over about a 13-year period or so, and within that time, on average, I was spending $1,000 a month on Yellow Pages ads, right? And I always made sure that I had the biggest ad in every area where I had schools. And So $1,000 a month for Yellow Pages that typically on average over 13 years generated about 3 enrollments a month, right? So I was paying about $300 or so per enrollment, right? $333 per enrollment. And some might think that that's really, really expensive, but really if you think about it, when a new student signs up with me, they're paying about $399 to enroll, $400 to enroll, and then they're going to pay between $200 and $359 a month. So if I get one enrollment from the Yellow Pages, that's worth about $600 to me in the first month. And with my retention rate, the average student was staying about 22 months, something like that. So that means the average student is going to be worth about $6,000, right? Well, so why on earth wouldn't I be willing to spend $300 to get a new one, right? So between most schools, the average student is between $3,000 and $5,000, right? So that's about what they contribute to the martial arts school. If your retention isn't quite as good, it might be only worth $2,000 or $1,500. If your retention is really, really good, they might be worth $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 on average to you, right? So why on earth wouldn't I be willing to pay $300 for a new student, right? Well, I was, and I did. But now, with our new approaches to social media, with our new approaches to Facebook and Instagram and a bunch of other platforms, we're now able to attract introductory appointments and then ultimately converting into new students for incredibly cheap. $13 per enrollment, $20 per enrollment, $30 per enrollment, right? $40 per enrollment in some cases. So think about that. That is a 10 plus X discount compared to where we were, actually almost a 20X discount compared to where we were in the 80s and in the 90s and in the 2000s. Does that make sense? So please understand, this is the time, right now is the time where we have the ability to work together and attract the market into your school at such a big discount that we've never seen before, at such low cost that we've never seen this before in our industry. Now is the time to take advantage of that, right? You now have access to the market directly. We don't have to go through, Cox Cable or Cox Media or Bright House or Clear Channel or Dex or the Yellow Book, right? We don't have to flow through their channel anymore. And right now, currently today, Facebook and others have radically underpriced this attention that they're willing to give us into our marketplace. Does that make sense? So please understand how big of a shift this is. Please understand how big of an opportunity this is. And also understand that time is limited. Eventually, we believe that large multinational marketers are going to figure this out, right? Right now, local marketers like us, local marketers have a huge advantage because we can target so tightly. Pepsi, Coke, Chevy, and Ford right now, this isn't as easy for them, right? They're targeting much more broadly. But now we have the tools, again, for the first time in history, you and I, we have the tools to make all this stuff work at incredibly low rates. So please take advantage of that. And if you need help with it, I've built out an entire division of our organization, an entire department at AMS, where we can actually do all this work for you. So if you don't want to have to deal with building websites, building individual landing pages, building squeeze pages and forms, building online videos, building email and text message follow-up sequences, building out your ad campaigns on these various social networks, gluing all that stuff together, dealing with all of that. If you don't want to do all that stuff, I've got a team of people who can do it for you, and we've got a very good success record so far of helping martial arts schools, leverage their marketing dollar to a degree that, again, we've never seen before, right? And we're doing it at an incredibly big discount right now, right? We're willing to right now spend tons of my staff's time helping our school operators accomplish that at like a tiny price, right? Like tiny rate, because we see how big of an opportunity this is, and I am so passionate about martial arts. I want our industry to grow. I want to be able to attract tens of thousands, millions of new students back into the martial arts. Adults that we've lost to fitness, adults that we've lost to MMA, and adults that we've lost to yoga and other styles, other activities. I want to bring that market back, and I want to reestablish us in the family market as the best alternative, the best activity that you can do for your 8-year-old, for your 9-year-old, for your 10-year-old, for your 11-year-old, for your 12-year-old, for your 4-year-old, right? So that's why we're willing to do this at such a low cost. I'm willing to invest, more hours per day managing this stuff for your school than frankly, you could afford to hire somebody, right? So take advantage of that if you're interested. If you want somebody to help you with all that stuff, we're here for you. You can check out ienrollstudents.com. That's ienrollstudents.com, the letter I, enrollstudents.com. And you can look at an online demo. I can show you what we're doing and show you how we're doing it so that you have a sense of how the system might work for you in your school. And I also have a team of people standing by on the telephones. If you have questions, if you're interested in seeing how this might work for your school, give my team a call at 1-800-275-1600, and they'll sort of walk you through all that as well. So thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. Please, whether we help you or not, please understand how fundamentally different and big this shift in marketing is. And please use this opportunity to your advantage. Don't let this pass again. Don't let yet another opportunity pass by our industry without our industry grabbing on and attracting all of these new students back into our schools. All right? So thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you. Look forward to speaking to you soon. Thanks again. Talk to you then.